Hi there! We should probably get working on this lathe again, don't you think? Yes, back on the lathe. And it's going to be thrilling and exciting, and neither of those things, because we are going to lay out some holes to drill. So here's the book, and opening to the page that I've dog-eared over, wherever it is. Here it is. Oh, that's not it. Somewhere in here. It talks about getting the bed, scraping it over here, and then the ways. So that's this thing. This is a sheet of, or a plate. It's 24 by 3 inches by 1/4 inch. You know it's about the right size because this is the carriage that rides back and forth on it. Now it fits. It goes on in this slot. It's got a little bit of wiggle. Obviously, because something else goes in here, the gib, and then you got screws to like tighten it and whatever. We'll worry about that later. But this attaches to the bed, and the way the book here shows it is with 4, well, looks like 2 bolts, 2 threaded rod with nuts, or maybe 4 threaded rod, couple shorter than the others. Give you a good look at that. So the bed, as you can see, has 4 openings. In that, you kind of have these 4 threaded rods. They go through the bed, through the ways here, and it kind of clamps it all together. On the end, these things are like the feet that I don't have on the bench at the moment. They're over there somewhere. I've noticed a few other people doing this kind of do it a little different way. One of them that I noticed is maker size. I'll put a picture I'll put a link to where he's doing it if you want to watch his video, but I'll show a picture of his lathe on the screen now if I can figure that out in my new editing software. And you'll see he doesn't have 4 big bolts. He uses instead a bunch of countersunk screws and a couple really big ones, or countersunk bolts or whatever. And I kind of like that better. So I also want to do the threaded rod thing, because I have a piece of threaded rod over there that I bought expressly for this purpose. But I did also buy some countersunk things here. They're not very beefy, not as beefy as the threaded rod. Countersunk, you can see, and brass, obviously, because brass is cooler looking. I have literally no reason other than that. I bought that many of them, 16. So 16, wow, some of these are looking a little more cruddy than the other ones. 16 of these, and 4 openings in the bed I'm pointing at that you can't see because it's out of frame. So that means 4 of these per opening. So I'm going to arrange them 2 by 2 in a group of 4. 4 of them across there, and then in the middle of those 4 things I am going to put the threaded rod. So I want to get, before I start any of that, what? One of those is shorter than the other one. Huh. I feel cheated. Cheated by myself, actually, because I'm the one who bagged these at the hardware store. Whoops. Well, pay attention. I got to go back there, I guess, anyway. So before we get to much else, I'm going to lay out where I want these holes to go. That bugs me, because I paid full price for slightly longer ones. I got one wrong one. Oh well. So placing this on here, face down. Oh, you can't see. Come on, cameraman. Placing it down, you'll see the thing here is not as wide as the ways. That's a good thing. You want it to hang over slightly more, slightly less. You want it to hang over on each side, and they say they want the overhang to be equal front and back. But if it overhangs on the sides, and it does, but it doesn't really, it's barely. They want it more on the tailstock end. So if you're looking at the front of a lathe, I don't know why, but they usually picture it head on the left, tailstock on the right. So since I'm doing this upside down, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. I'm just talking while I'm thinking, or talking more than I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm going to draw a line front and back to kind of try to get an idea of how crooked I have this thing sitting right now. Okay, so that's roughly the space of the top of the bed. So there's a hollow. I'll just draw here. There's actually a hollow like this inside the bed because it's got walls. Now, do I want these to fall here, or do I want them to fall here? I don't know. I kind of want them apart a bit. It might be impossible to lay them out perfectly because you'll notice one side of this is thinner than the other. This is because this is I got these from Chirpy. This is one of Chirpy's first castings, and there was a little bit of core shift, it's called, because this is like a core. So I think I'm not going to care because I'm going to power drill the holes using my drill press, and then I'm going to tap them with some taps. So really, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. Leave in the comments. I say leave it in the comments, but like by the time you're watching this, too late. Well, WD-40 is a fantastic solvent. So how are we going to lay these out? Obviously, we need to do some rulering and some math. Isn't it fun to be back in the workshop? All this tedium and maths. Why do British people put an S on that? Maths. Is there more than one kind of math? I thought math was like the only universal topic. Like everything is like different shades of subjectivity and that kind of thing. But math is like math. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will. I'm going to try to lay out with a bit of marker and then actually hit the holes, bunk, with this and a hammer, which I have right here. I didn't even plan for that. Then we'll get to drilling. I have some drills. These are not drills. I don't know why these are here. Drills somewhere else, and then countersinking. After I drill the holes, we'll be done with a countersink bit, which I happen to have. Bought at the hardware store at the same time. Now this is 24 inches long. The bed is near as makes no difference 24 inches long. It's like 24 and like 7/8. The pattern is actually more than 24. It's like 24 and 3/8, but because it was cast in aluminum, it's quite a lot of shrinkage over the 2 feet. It goes into this in the book. But let's say I want to have the sides in, like the first screws on the end, in 1 inch from the end. So that takes our 24-inch span and takes 1 inch off each side, so that drops us down to 22 inches. We're going on center, so 22 inches on center from the far left to the far right. Now I got 16 of these, right? 2 in 2 rows, one on this side, one on this side. So we have 8 per side to spread out over 22 inches. So what does that do for math? Doesn't go in evenly. Save me, calculator. 2.75. 2 3/4 inch on center for the whole span will give me 8 holes over 22 inches. Okay, that's actually pretty easy. And I know what you're thinking. Paul, you've never been one for any sort of precision before. Well, it's a lathe. It's supposed to be precise. Also, I'm going to try from this point on to be a little less crap in the stuff that I make. 2.75. And I know they're not in like a precise line. I'll get to that. Just roughing things out. And on this end, I have a discrepancy. Focus. Fine, don't focus. I'm not the boss of you. Actually, I am. But I know you're not going to listen because you're an inanimate camera with no soul. So this discrepancy, this means something. Perhaps this is slightly longer than it should be. Where are my tape measures? I have 40 of the things. Okay, here's one. By the way, you know how the end of this is usually loose? That's generally on purpose because this end thing has thickness to it. So if you push or like set it on the end of something and pull, then you'll get accurate measurements to the inside of this. If you push it and it takes up the slack and you measure, you'll get accurate measurements to the outside of that. And if this end part gets bent like this, then the tape measure doesn't work. So using this broken tape measure tells me, yeah, no, it's 3:30 seconds-ish, too long, sorta. No problem though. I'm gonna measure just from one side then, and then the other side will have the extra overhang, and that will be on the tailstock end of the bed because this is slightly too long anyway. How long is the bed? Oh, the bed is 24 inches. Perfect. 24 inches dead. And this tape measure is not working very well. So we'll ignore that. Okay, now same deal. We're gonna math it up. We got a hair under 2 inches. I need more subdivisions. About 2 inches side to side. So we want to put our bolts, what do you think? 3/8 in from the side? I mean, that makes sense, right? 3/8 in. Then the head. Need one of these. Then the head has some thickness. Yeah, that gives enough. And then this end will go through and it will work. Hang on, is this actually brass, or is this just a normal metal one but plated in brass? I have to know this. No, it's actually brass. Nice. So what was I talking about just now? All right, 3/8 in. Write it on the bench so I don't forget. Now to find dead center on this 3 inches. This ain't gonna write on this, is it? And this is too fat. There we go, finer tip Sharpie. Sorry if this is boring, but sometimes making stuff can be. And I don't have an anecdote to fill every possible gap. I mean, of course I can talk about random crap. I'm just going to give myself a little scratch mark. There's the center. So I was planning on doing this series. I finished the heat treat oven, and then I was going to shift to this, and I was just going to do lathe video after lathe video until it's done. So looking at the nature of this lathe project, I'm not entirely sure that's feasible, because I won't get enough done on a week-to-week basis to actually fill a whole video. So they might be shorter videos, or I might pepper in a couple of other standalone videos, depending on, how I'm feeling, the weather, what my horoscope says, all that sort of important information. I know what you're thinking. Don't discriminate against people who believe in horoscopes. You know what? I don't take any fortune telling, even if it's in a newspaper. I mean, supposedly the weatherman has science behind it, and he's not always right. So right now, I'm using this scribe here to mark center line, which I'm sure doesn't show up on camera very well. There, you can kind of see it there. It's that one. I also had someone in a stream ask me, or it was a comment or something, ask me about van videos. I like working on the van, but videos make it take a lot longer, and nobody watched them. I mean, I'm still going to make the videos, but it's kind of a bit like, this is a project I really like, and everyone's like, meh. And of course, the secret is that's kind of what I'm planning to do with all of these things that I've been making. So eventually, it's going to be kind of like a van video. What I'm doing right now, by the way, sorry, I'm rambling and not explaining. I'm marking the position where I want to drill these holes, but I'm marking them on the center line that I just scribed. Tedious, isn't it? Very tedious. Oh, and by the way, I should mention, so you see this? The thing and the whatever, and the Prussian blue, we use that scraping the bed. Well, it's out because you're supposed to scrape one side of this. Whatever side goes on the back side. If you really want to see more scraping, go to the last lathe video. Last lathe video, by the way, I must have posted in, 1984? Sure feels that long ago. So, 3/8 in from the edge. I'm going to measure everything now off of this center line. That's 1/2 plus 1/8, 5/8. I've just realized my drill press has a lot of wobble to it, so really all this careful measuring is completely irrelevant. Oh well, easy does it. And for the other one, boom, first 2 holes marked. And then for the big bolt that goes through the middle, I'll probably put it in the center of these 5, 4, middle. I meant to say 5. I'm not losing my mind, you are. Shut up. Not entirely certain how long I'm going to be out here tonight, but I would like to get to drilling stuff, and I do have a countersink thing. There's also the question of how much recording do I want to do, and then needing to edit it, and that software that I'm still not great at. It's DaVinci Resolve, by the way, for any of you who's going to ask. Still trying to figure out render settings. People claimed my update video had a lot of interlacing, which it did. I noticed that too. So I'm doing the layout on this piece and not the bed also, because I plan on basically doing the drilling in the ways here, and then clamping into the bed, drilling, setting up maybe like a screw on each side to kind of hold it in place, and then do all the rest of them when it's clamped together nice and tight. That way everything lines up and I don't have like get to like halfway through and all the holes are off center and, you know, that kind of annoyance. And by all means, if anyone knows a quicker way of doing this, let me know in the comments. I mean, it'll be too late for me to jump on and do it because this is all done by the time you see the video. This feels like it's got like lumps and burrs and stuff. I mean, before I do the setting this thing on the whatever, I really need to like smooth that out. Ew. I'm sure it'll be fine though. Okay, so I got these holes kind of laid out, wiped it off with the WD-40, and I'm going to add in the threaded rod where the book says to put it in. So both systems, probably not necessary. I'm going to do it anyway. But the threaded rod will be different. Instead of this going through a hole slightly larger than the threads and using the countersink to pull it through, the hole in the bed will actually be larger than the threads on the threaded rod, and they'll be tapped into the top. So it will be pulling the top down, not pulling the bed up, kind of, if that makes sense. But I want it to be dead center of where these 4 holes are. And you get dead center the following way. Presumably this is a perfect rectangle, but even if it's not, because I did it, you can find the center. I kind of started here. You might be able to see. You get across a scribe. You know, you scribe between the 2 corners. Then you lay out the other corners, opposite corners, scribe that line. And where they meet, which presumably meets at the center line here if I did my job right, and it does. Look at that. Realize that wasn't framed very well. Can you see it? Maybe you can see it better if I put some ink on there. The things I do just to make it slightly easier to see on camera. I don't do that much, if I'm honest. Not enough. There. You see that? Corner to corner, corner to corner. They meet right on the center line, as good as I can hope for myself doing it. Dead center. There's where the hole is going to go. Hopefully that makes sense and I don't just sound like a jabbering idiot. And if I did, well, you know where you are. If you're looking for top quality facts on YouTube, you might be mistaken. Here's the thing. Nobody has ever fact-checked me and taken videos off the air because they were not correct. And nobody has said anything about that. Even in YouTube, like the YouTube Creator Studio, they're all about like getting more attention, not like make your videos better. Like better as in like educational or logical, like here's how you teach people things that are important. None of that. Probably because they don't care, maybe? I don't know. I'm not the boss of them. Wait a second. Wait. So that was too... you know what? Yeah. So here's the thing. I did 22 inches span divided by 8. I shouldn't have done 8. I should have taken into consideration that the 0 point is also a pair. So n minus 1, 3. I shouldn't have done 2 3/4. I should have done 3.1428571428. Crap. Okay, so that's a problem because now I have 9 rows of 2. I need 18 of the things. I only have 16 minus the one that's the wrong size. So I need to get more of these, is what I'm saying. Dang it! Even in precision, I was precisely wrong. Well, I gotta go buy 3 of them now instead of 1 more. But anyway, this cross thing still works. This is the center one. They're not going to be equidistant, but I could care less. I bought the threaded rod. I'm going to use it. I bought a large section of it too. I couldn't like say, hey, I just want like 10 inches of this. Like, nope, 3 feet or nothing.